Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trail Talk. Well, can you see me hiding behind these boots over here? We're so glad you guys joined us today. I'm here with our friend Mark Crutcher. Mark is back. You guys might remember when he came on and did a very informative trail talk about hats, the cowboy hats. That was so interesting to me. I've never looked at a cowboy hat the same since then. I just found it to be very, very informative. And he's going to do the same thing for us today, talking about, I call them cowboy boots. Is that kind of the what people refer to? People come in the store and say, I need some cowboy boots.
Cowboy boots as well.
So it's not a politically correct or incorrect term. This is just what we call them, right?
Right.
Because we've got cowboy boots for everyone.
Any age.
Any age. We got little bitties out here at the front. Can y'all see how tiny those are? Look at those cuties.
Those are for our infants. We say we just start them off when they're infants.
Hey, just get them used to it right away.
Right.
Away. Here, this is a regular size boot next to it, just to give you a good idea of how tiny they are. Aren't those so cute? So cute. So Mark brought a variety of boots to just to kind of talk about the differences. There's a vast amount of difference.
Oh, a lot of differences.
Yeah, in these boots. And so he's going to kind of talk to us about the differences and kind of the trends, some of the changes that boots have gone through. And so we're going to start with this here. Now, this is not a boot from the days of the Chisholm Trail.
No, this might be a style, something like they wore.
Okay.
Usually tall tops
Uh-huh.
with what we call an underslung heel. We've shown it in a square toe, but back in those days, they had a little more pointed toe. And the reason for that
Kind of
could
more
be
like-
a toe, something like this.
Like this.
Reasoning for that, back in those days, it would go in a stirrup easier.
Oh, right.
Then we have an underslung heel here that would fit in the stirrup, would keep them from sliding on through the stirrup.
Mhm.
Normally, most of them wore tall tops. One of the reasons on that is that when they were going through brush, or that would protect their legs. Most of the time, you see a lot of stitching on tall top boots. That kind of helps keep the leather from sagging. Is
Oh,
what-
I had no idea why they
But-
were,
Besides looking pretty.
right.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought it was the appeal, but it always was a little confusing because they're generally covered.
Yes.
And I always thought, boy, that's a lot of work for something that's going to be covered, but it's a
Right.
structural.
But it's the kind of, especially to help keep that leather from sagging, is what the original idea of putting a lot of stitching on it. Now, boots today, some of them don't have as much stitching.
Right, right.
They're few years, well, this goes way back a way. They used to say you could count the rows of stitching on a boot, and then it would tell you kind of what, there was like $100 a row, and it would tell you what price boot that is. But
Yeah,
today's
that's not-
time, that don't work today's time.
Don't go in the store thinking that's going to be a
Right.
deal. That's not.
But
the way it
that
works.
was an old saying way
Right.
back there.
Right.
If you count the rows of stitching,
Mhm.
you kind of know the price of the boot. But this is kind of what we call our tall top. This is a 16-inch top,
Uh-huh.
and but it protects the cowboy's leg when he was riding on the trail. And I got a lot of ranch hand cowboys today wears that tall top
Mhm.
if they're out gathering cattle. And you don't have to wear a tall top to gather cattle, but it's
Right.
most of the guys that ride through the brush and gather up cattle and all wears a little taller boot.
Well, they put their pants down inside.
Lot
these
of,
tall
a lot
ones,
of them will do that,
Mhm.
stick their pants down in there
Yeah.
at all. So this is just a style that maybe they might have wore back in those
Mhm.
days, except the toe would be a little more pointed.
Mhm.
And we'll get into talking more about styles of toes.
Right.
But I thought, well, we'd just start there since we're on the Chisholm Trail.
Exactly. That's a great place to start. Now, these holes up here, that's to pull the boot.
That's,
Right.
that's another design they do. These right here, they call them dog ears,
Okay.
but
Yeah, it's a little strap thing. I don't know
right,
if
that you
see.
put your
Boy, that
fingers.
one's stiff.
Yes.
You
it's
put your finger in
And-
there like that on either side and pull on
But-
like that.
Normally on our tall tops, we see a lot of, we call them pool holes, just makes it
Mhm.
easier for them to pull their
Yeah,
boots.
they have that look, but it's not, you can't put your finger over
Right.
that.
So that makes it a little easier putting them on.
So do you know, like where the tall top boot kind of came from?
Well, and I can't tell you that, I'm gonna say back in the early 1900s, I was looking, a lot of boots had that tall top, and what it is guys working either out on a ranch or somewhere needed some type of protection.
Well, like, the Chisholm Trail started in 1867.
Right.
So then we know.
It could have been farther back, right?
From what I understand, a lot of the cowboy gear from those days, they took the ideas from the Mexican, what do they call it? Vaqueros.
Vaqueros,
Yeah.
right.
And so they probably,
They could have
were-
probably, that might be where it started
Mhm.
all, but
yeah.
usually I would say a lot of the guys that made that Chisholm Trail ride
Mhm.
probably wore a tall top boot,
Yeah.
underslung heel to keep that foot in that, going through that stirrup and
Mhm.
all.
And so this is considered a work boot. Like for today, a
Well,
cowboy would wear this.
Yes, I've got cowboys today that works out on a ranch or a farm or working around cattle and all, rides a lot. They will use a tall top. Some still uses a little shorter top, but most of what I call ranch cowboys will wear a taller
A
top.
taller
Mhm.
top. Okay. Well, there you have it. The reason for the tall top on the boot. I mean, it's for protection. It's not just so you can have more decorative on your legs. All right, which one do you want to look at?
Well,
next?
the boots that you got your hand on now,
Okay.
it's called an exotic, but I just brought it to show the toe, if that toe shows up, that
Mhm.
at several years back, we used to wear a little pointed toe.
Right.
Toes on boots have changed drastically. And they started out with a real pointed toe that we say you could put it in the corner of the wall.
Yes, yes.
For a certain reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, over the years, they have changed the style of the toe
Mhm.
from giving you a little more room down in the toe. Back, we're going to jump forward quite a ways to the early 80s, and we'll start with that. Justin Roper was a boot.
Classic boot from my back in my day. Classic boot right there.
That Justin Roper, before we started calling them Ropers, they called them Wellingtons back
Yes.
in those days.
Yep.
It was normally a shorter top. This is a 11-inch top, little blocker heel, a little rounder toe. And that was a popular boot back, like I said, in the early, we call them urban cowboy days. Is
Yeah.
what me and you would remember.
Right,
They
right.
made rainbow colors, I mean,
Mhm.
for ladies and men's. But Justin really introduced that boot and we just called it like the Justin Roper.
I think one of the things, because of being, a teenager in those days, people who were not everyone was accustomed to wearing boots, but suddenly they were in style. And boots don't feel the same as shoes when
No.
you put them on.
No,
And if you're not used to shoving your foot past this part right here, I mean, it's not easy. And these were a nice kind of middle ground kind of boot because the heel wasn't you know, a lot taller, if you wore tennis shoes all the time, you know, it just, to me, that was one of the reasons that
Yeah.
it was popular.
Well, see, for instance, if a businessman did not want to wear what we call that underslung heel and all,
Mhm.
this was almost built almost like a shoe. It had a little shorter heel and a little rounder toe, looked more kind of like a shoe.
Yes, yeah.
But so if he wasn't, and before we go any further, I want to say, you don't have to live on a farm. You don't have to have cows or a ranch or anything to wear boots.
Mhm.
In Oklahoma and Texas, it's part of our dress nowadays.
Yes,
Because you don't have to live on a farm to wear
exactly.
cowboy
That,
boots.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I never saw my dad in anything but boots until, I don't know, I was probably in college or maybe past that. If he wore a suit, he wore a pair of boots with that
it.
suit.
Yes, yes.
You know, that, and that was, he wasn't what I would call a cowboy or anything. I mean, we lived on a farm, but that was just the style. That, this part of the country,
Is
that was the style.
wear that style of a boot.
Mhm.
So, and for several years, you know, we went through the roper era, different colors. Then we went into lace-up ropers. Do you remember
I do remember
when they used to
those.
make this boot, but it was a
Yes.
lace-up?
I always
So-
wanted a pair of those. I had my eye on kind of a dark red pair. I never got them, but I always wanted a pair of lace-up
Right.
ropers.
So
that
we went
color.
through
Yeah.
that. Then, several years later, we started, or the boot companies, I'm sorry, not
Yeah,
we,
right.
but they started with a little rounder toe. So that next boot you look at, if
Mhm.
they will show,
I want to say something.
Okay.
I always just noticed that ropers were plain
yes, ma'am.
on this top. Well, now we know why, right? The leather, it's not so tall that it requires that extra stitching for
To
structure.
hold the
To hold-
top
to keep it from-
sagging.
See, you taught me a big thing right there that I never knew, Mark.
So
I never knew
you
that.
always thought that the stitching was just to make them look pretty.
Yeah, I
Okay.
did. I mean, I even sold boots back in the day at a boot place and I just didn't know. I mean, nobody ever asked me why they were stitched up, so.
So then we come through, started the round, what we call the real round toe.
Right, yeah.
I mean, which they call that, a lot of the boot companies call it a W toe. We had a
Okay.
R toe. We had the T toe was what I call the pointed toe.
Mhm.
Then we went to the R toe, which is the ropers. Then a U toe was a little rounder, but this is a little, quite a
Even
bit
more
broader round toe.
Yeah.
And we went several years with that. Still got some guys still wear the broader round toe.
Mhm.
And then when we get into our next toe, I have some guys that are just not going to change. And but boots, the toes have changed
Mhm.
considerably from the pointed toe to the round R toe, the U toe.
Mhm.
And
One thing I was thinking about on that pointed toed boot, remember how they would put like a piece of metal, like a fancy toe cap kind of thing?
toe tips. what
Toe
we call it.
tips, yeah. A toe tip and it would have kind of a fancy edge on it and be.
Engraving or something.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
or then they put a different color leather
Right.
and really, I mean, snaz those pointed toed
Well,
boots.
that, I don't know if you remember too, they used to have a piece of leather that would go, we call them wingtips.
Yes, yes.
Wingtip boots.
Like the wingtip shoe.
Yes.
Uh-huh, yeah, but it
So
was
we had
leather.
that plus the toe tip, metal
Mhm.
around the toe and on the
On the
heel.
heel.
So
uh-huh.
we went through, yeah, dress them up however you wanted
This
to
is
dress
so
them up.
fun thinking
Yes.
about all the different styles of boots through the years, goodness.
So probably it about, I'm going to say about 8 to 10 years ago, this next toe was introduced, and we call them our square toes.
And they are square. Look
right.
at that.
Now, one other thing that happened when the square toes come around is what we call the double stitch. Can you
Oh, yeah.
show them
yeah,
the stitching around?
Right around
Was
here.
what we call double stitch versus a single
Uh-huh.
stitch.
Yep.
like
And
the stitch.
look at that. It looks like the roper toe has a little bit of a point to it almost when you compare
right,
it to this
the square toe.
thing. Isn't that crazy?
And the square toes have really, it's just one of our bigger sellers right now.
Mhm.
A lot of guys are wearing the square toes. We have different leathers. The boot you're looking at right now is what we call a cowhide. Most
Yeah.
of them are cowhides.
Yeah.
But I did bring a rough out boot for you to feel right there.
Mhm.
It's just a reverse leather.
Like a suede, feels
Right.
like suede shoes.
From the smooth, the cowhide leather,
So it's just the other side.
other side now. We're
Mhm.
still, if you look at the heel now, that we still sell
Mhm.
block heel, but
Yeah.
I still have some boots, and I happen to have one here in a.
What is this
That's a leather stacked heel, we call
leather
it.
stack?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Leather
And
sole,
for dancing, you need this leather sole right here. This
Scooter
one.
boot.
That's right. That's why that's why the urban cowboy was such a smooth dancer. He's got that leather right
Right.
there.
But even on our regular cowboy boots, we still do that underslung heel.
Oh, yeah, right,
Right.
right there. Uh-huh.
And then this is another new square toe they're coming.
Oh, my.
There's a lot of difference if you put it up.
Yeah.
We're calling this blue boot a cutter toe, and it's
Cutter.
just a new style of square toes.
Mhm. And this is also a
That's a rough out. Rough out is,
It's a smoother rough out.
Right.
This one's probably been
Right.
rubbed down or something,
Back-
sanded off a little bit or something.
back in the, I'm going to say, back in the 64, 65, when I was little, I guess you'd say,
Yeah.
we wore a lot of rough out boots.
Mhm.
Our boots were rough out, a little more of the rounded, not the real round toe, but more pointed side
Mhm.
toe. But rough out has been around for a long time.
Yeah, and notice this is back to the single stitch.
Single stitch here, right?
On this part
Versus the double
versus the
stitch.
double.
Yeah.
On this more squared toe. Now, he brought a little blast from the past up a minute ago. Do you guys remember dingo boots? The original square-toed boot.
Back in the 70s.
Yeah,
So
the 70s. I
yeah.
said, when I was a kid, I can remember little boys especially, man, their dingo boots
Right.
running on the playground.
So this is where the square toe kind of come from. It
Uh-huh.
wasn't a new toe somebody thought of. It's just an old toe they had back when we were
Right,
younger.
right, exactly. A lot younger. Yeah, this toe is kind of interesting.
It
though,
is.
You know,
It has a square,
it looks
kind of a
funny
square
from the
look,
side.
right? Yeah.
That little, I don't know if y'all can see how it turns up right there on the end. It's kind of funny how that looks, but it's pretty. It's a pretty
It's
boot.
another-
I think I kind of like it.
Another new style
Uh-huh.
coming along.
Yeah, maybe a little more than the big wide square one. So there you go. But it has
It has that underslung
an
heel.
underslung.
So we can do it either on the tall tops, and then I have some guys that wear it with, these two are 13-inch tops.
Okay.
Most of these are 13-inch
Okay.
tops.
Yeah.
These,
How many inches is this big tall?
that was 16.
This is 16.
16-inch
Okay,
top.
This is the big one,
The
kind of the
taller top.
original.
These are mostly what we would say you're going out,
Mhm.
casual wear,
Mhm.
boots that you can work in them, but most guys just use them for casual wear
Mhm.
or a dress boot.
Yeah, or like maybe you'd wear them to work at the store,
Yes, yes,
something
ma'am.
like that.
Right.
Yeah,
And then later on, we'll pull what I call some work. I'll show
Real
you
work
the
boots,
difference in
yeah.
some work boots.
Mhm.
So these are some different styles there.
Mhm.
And I did bring some ladies' boots. I didn't want to leave you ladies out.
Wasn't that nice of him?
So here is some different,
Ah.
everything's mostly square toes in
Mhm.
my ladies'
So
boots.
this stitch design on the top, Tina, I don't know if it's gonna glare too much for you to see it. Maybe you can see it better on this pair where it's stitched in blue.
Yeah.
That design Is it the same one that's just almost always been
It's,
on a top? That is so familiar,
Right.
you know, whenever you see the stitching on the top of the boot.
we call this bug and wrinkle or a toe bug.
Okay,
When we're talking about designing boots, which they'll say, do you want a bug and wrinkle? And that's what we call the stitching here. And
just a
it's
second.
mostly,
There it is, yeah.
it's most for decoration.
Mhm.
I mean, to
Yeah.
help.
It just occurred to me that really hasn't changed.
No, it's
That
been,
has been like that for years,
time.
yeah.
but on our ladies, you know, they usually put, and you can do the same thing on men's, but they usually put a lot of color,
Mhm.
because you ladies like color and
That's
all.
true,
So we
that's
try to
true.
make them look more appealing to a
Mhm.
lady.
And y'all probably can't see it, but this one has sparkly on the inside.
Yeah, I didn't think
I-
about talking about the
Yeah, oh,
insides
look at
of-
that one. That
Yeah.
one's red in there. That one looks like a watermelon.
But,
Red on the inside,
yeah.
but that's got a little, look at that sparkle there on that. That's really fun.
But you ladies like, you know,
It's true.
it's
It's
something
true.
catch your eye.
Yes,
catch
that's
your eye.
right.
And all. Now, the boot, if you'll turn that boot over, that happens to have a rubber sole.
Oh, okay.
So
Yep,
we-
there you go.
Some of our boots got leather soles,
Uh-huh.
some of them has rubber soles.
So these are not for dancing. Just gonna tell y'all.
A little harder to
You
dance. in
have a
that.
hard time. So is this more of why would you have a rubber sole?
Well, that's more, I don't want to call it a work boot, but for an everyday wear, because what normally happens, the first part you wear out on a leather sole boot
Mhm.
is right here.
Yeah.
So this just the rubber sole
Mhm.
eliminates
Yeah,
the leather from wearing out. But like I said, for dancing,
yeah,
rubber just don't work.
it
for
does
dancing.
not, but, you know, it's slick, so,
Yes.
oh, this has a rubber
Okay,
piece on it.
that was another, what we call a hybrid. So instead of it all all rubber,
Uh-huh.
they put it right in the wear area,
Where it
right
wears
where
out
you
the most. So if you're walking a lot on doing things,
on concrete and.
right, because the fact that they're slick makes them good for dancing, but they are slick.
Yep.
You know, and if you're walking on some surfaces,
You could slip.
You could
Slip.
very much,
Right.
yeah. So that's interesting. I hadn't paid that much attention to that, but that would be
Well, see, a
really
lot of
good.
times you never know if somebody's actually wearing leather or have rubber on,
Uh-huh,
because you can't hardly tell anymore
yeah,
on that.
yeah, that's true. They do a really good job. I mean, even this one that's all rubber, it's
You
still
can't tell,
attractive.
you can't hardly tell by
No,
looking.
no, you can't, not at all. Very nice. And is this square toe like your top seller these days?
Well, it is right now. Now in your ladies' boots, we went from a snip toe, and the snip toe is a real small, I didn't bring one, but right now, my square toes and ladies' boots is my most popular ones right
Mhm,
now.
mhm.
But they change. Next year, we'll probably be on some other style of boot,
Yeah,
especially
they'll
for
come
you ladies, because y'all change quicker than us men.
The
do.
guys, yeah,
Yes.
the guys like what they like, I guess, but these are pretty. So do you ladies wear their boots? I see a lot of girls with a dress and a pair of boots.
Right.
And that seems to be a kind of a popular look, but I don't know, are those square toed boots that they wear? Because they look like, are they?
There's a
I
lot of
haven't
them.
paid any attention, I
You
guess.
know, if they're not wearing their jeans, they'll wear, sometimes the ladies are wearing the what we call leggings
Yes.
and all, or the tights
Mhm,
and all, but
yeah.
I do see a lot of ladies wearing a skirt,
Uh-huh.
a long skirt, maybe with their boots.
Mhm.
So we say you could just wear your
You
boots
could-
with even
Boots.
shorts. I
Yeah,
have seen
I-
girls wearing shorts,
Absolutely.
wearing their boots. So,
True story.
Yeah.
Yep, that is true. So girls, we can wear our boots with anything. And you know, how many little boys have you seen with a pair of cowboy boots and shorts on?
that's,
I mean, that's a real thing right there.
as long as they're wearing boots, that's fine.
Mark doesn't care what else you have on, just got
And,
your boots on.
This next group, well, this was just another style I brought, a little
Mhm.
shorter top, just
Okay,
to,
so is this
show.
11 like the Roper?
yes, this is
Okay.
a 11-inch top, just
Mhm.
another boot I brought, and it did have the rubber sole
Oh,
on the
yeah,
back
I see
on it
that.
too. But it
That's a nice looking
Yep.
boot though. I mean, I always imagine just what the bottom looks like, you
Well,
know?
like you
and-
said, a lot of times, us guys, we wear our pants over, you don't know
Yeah,
what the
you don't
tops
really
look
see
like.
it. And so I mean, look at that. That's a pretty
Mm-hmm.
boot. That's a pretty color. So that, I was gonna ask you, so what do they name the colors these days? Like this would probably have been called chocolate.
That's chocolate. They
Okay.
have, we have cognac, which is a tan color.
Right,
Uh,
kind of a,
Let's
Is
see,
there
a
one?
cognac. No, I don't have a cognac.
no,
It's kind of, it's more tan, but it's orangey color.
okay,
They have tobacco. We have black. We have a black cherry, which is kind of black and cherry both.
Hmm,
There is a lot of names for colors of boots, and every time we get one in, it's a different name. And I think, where did they come up with that name? So,
that's a job I've always wanted. I've always wanted to pick the names for
Of the
colors,
color?
of colors.
Well-
I always think that when I see things like black cherry for a pair of,
boots, yeah.
I always think, oh, that's so fun. What a fun name.
Next, what I brought is what we call exotic boots, and that is made of exotic leathers.
Do you have that other pointed one over
Yes,
here?
this right here
Yeah,
is, that is a Cayman alligator.
okay.
That's the cognac color.
Okay.
Or, now, when we were a little younger, used to call that peanut brittle.
Ah,
Peanut
yeah,
brittle.
yeah.
Used to be peanut brittle
Mhm.
lizard, peanut brittle, ostrich. I
Yeah.
mean, we used to call it peanut brittle, but
Mhm.
now they call it cognac
Yeah.
is the color.
Yeah, no, it's a little
This,
classier name, I guess.
this is another, Cayman alligator.
Okay,
You know, they have the regular crocodile or alligator.
Mhm.
Your Caymans are a little smaller alligators and all. And, we had lizard was another brand. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, another leather we had a lot. The snakeskin, like me and you were talking,
Mhm.
the pythons, the boas, the rattlesnakes, which they still make, out of, snakes. They do,
So, I guess this animal, this exotic leather, I guess it takes dye,
yes, right, yeah.
okay? and-
Yeah, they'll get the skins and then they will dye the skins.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I was thinking, some of those snake skins, they leave natural, so you have, it's kind of like a black and white,
right.
you know.
That's
the-
your boas.
Yeah.
And your pythons. And then on the rattlesnake, they leave them natural color because you can see, especially the diamond
Right,
rattlesnake,
diamondbacks,
you can
yeah.
see the pattern of that.
Mhm.
This next one, we'll go through these. This is the genuine ostrich.
Yeah, full quill.
Full quill that you see where each of those little pimples are there, that's
Mhm.
where the feathers were plucked from the ostrich.
Mhm.
If you ever lay an ostrich out after you tan him, lay him out, you don't have full quills all the way to the edge. And it's usually right down the middle of the back. So that's where we get our full quill. Then you have all the other, we call that smooth ostrich.
Yeah,
May have a few of the little quills on it, but
Mhm.
not much.
and they're a little flat, more
Right,
flat. They're
right.
not they don't stick up as far.
As much as this,
Mhm.
and then in the ostrich, they make almost every color in the rainbow,
yeah.
almost, I have seen, or they dye the leather to that, whatever
Mhm,
color
mhm.
that,
And this is probably a very popular, as long as I've been around.
it's
boots.
been one of the
This
number
is-
one dress boots. Now,
Mhm.
we've been through the lizards and we've been through the alligators, and they have had anteater. I mean,
Oh, I remember
anteater, they
anteater.
had anteater.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about those.
And then the boo we was talking about earlier before we come on, elephant.
Oh, yeah.
They
the
still
elephant.
do
Mhm,
elephant.
mhm.
They still make stingray. They have actually made
Stingray.
boots out of stingray.
Wow.
And that's pretty cool looking
Oh, I bet
leather.
that is. And you
And-
said shark?
Shark is another,
Mhm.
your sharks and your elephants is what we call the two toughest leather
Mm,
out there. You just, they just wear and wear and wear. You'll wear the leather sole and tops out before you wear the
top
leather
of it,
out.
yeah. Just as a side note, the elephant, hide, that's restricted. That's because of the,
It's still on the
Endangered.
endangered species,
uh-huh,
but they, over in Africa, they have what they call controlled kills. And the tanneries, they call the tanneries and they can buy that hide
mhm,
to make boots. And it's dyed too,
mhm.
because we know there's not a black elephant
Right,
running
right,
around
or
there.
a kind of this color or
Or cognac,
whatever, yeah,
right.
whatever.
This is
yeah.
called antique saddle.
Antique
Saddle is
okay.
what they call that
That's a
color.
pretty color though. I
Yes.
like that one.
And the most popular I have right now in exotics is this boot.
I have never seen this before. You said this is a
This
fish.
is actually a fish made from a fish from the Amazon River.
Wow.
Yeah, it's called Piruka is the name of the fish.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, it's dyed, that leather's dyed too.
Is it ever, like this is a matte finish? Is this always a matte
No,
finish?
they do
No?
have
Okay.
some shinier.
Mhm.
Right now, when we first had them, I've been selling them now for about 5 years, the fish. And then when they first come out, it was a shinier, smoother fish. Now it
okay.
still had, I don't know how to scales,
it's-
I guess,
yeah,
but they don't peel off.
yeah.
It's
It's like the snake. The snake will have it's not smooth, it'll have the little.
I'm trying to think what they
Scales.
are.
They're
Scales,
scales. They are
scales,
scales,
yes.
yeah.
But
These don't look like a typical scale, but it's a South American fish. I mean,
Right.
we've probably never seen one like it.
And this is mostly dress, these last exotics is what they'd wear for dress.
Mhm.
Normally, they wouldn't have their, I can't tell them they can't wear it out to the horse barn.
Right.
But it's a little
Right.
expensive a boot to wear
Right.
it out to the horse
Yeah,
barn.
yeah, these probably are, twice as much as what
That little boot runs about $400.
so, yeah, so this is, close to 2 times what you might
Yeah.
pay for just a cowhide.
These are mostly what we call their dress boots that
Mhm.
they would wear.
Yeah,
But from there, or any questions here? Eddie?
Well,
Are you happy?
I just can tell y'all, after our fishing in Oklahoma lesson yesterday, this is not one of the native species
No,
of
no.
fish in Oklahoma.
Yeah. You won't find this fish in
No, so
Oklahoma
don't go trying to go to the lake.
or Eagle Lake.
Yeah, or somebody's pond to catch one of these. It's not gonna happen. I'm just putting people at ease with that.
Okay,
information
all right.
there, Mark.
Well, my next group, since we're in oil country,
Absolutely. yeah.
I have brought some work boots.
Ah,
Now,
and listen, if you know anything about a store that sells boots, people like a work boot that looks like a Western boot.
right,
They like that. Now you got your Red Wing work boots that look
Yes.
like Red Wing work boots. That's that tanned oil leather. I
plain
mean,
leather, no stitching.
no stitching, no nothing, just hard.
Yeah, been in the oil field probably since it started.
Yeah. But these, I mean, probably, will you tell us about
Okay,
these here?
I brought this, since we've been talking a little more about cowboy boot.
Mhm.
That is my steel toe. That's got a
Oh, yeah.
steel toe in
Yeah.
it. And it's looks almost like a regular cowboy boot.
It really does.
Double
Got the
stitch,
double stitch,
Uh-huh.
the square toe
Toe.
here.
piece of steel.
It's heavy. That's a heavy toe on there. And is this leather?
It's still a leather
Stacked
stack
leather?
heel.
Mhm.
Now they've designed, usually on a work boot, they'll put like a rubber sole or something.
Yeah.
This is just
one's-
a man-made rubber sole.
Oh,
on
okay.
that.
And look, it looks just like
Like
you're
a
looking at a leather sole.
regular
Wow.
cowboy boot.
Wow.
But from there,
That's a big sized one.
I just grabbed it. That's the size 11, I believe.
That one looks really big.
Yeah, I should have
compared
brought a
to the one-
smaller
I know,
size,
no,
but-
I just noticed that.
But then here's what we call our typical
Mm-hmm,
work boot, steel toe, little thicker
yeah,
rubber sole, because this guy's wearing this every day
Mhm.
for 12, 14 hours a day.
yeah,
It is steel toe. We have, I brought one that's not steel toe, so
uh-huh,
I brought you two versions.
right,
Um,
right,
Now, we still do round toes in in work boots too.
oh, okay.
But right now, the square toe is
It's
so
even
popular. Right.
popular, and look, it's even got the stitching right here on the toe of it,
Toe bug,
the toe bug.
toe bug.
I gotta
Bug and
remember
wrinkle,
that,
toe bug. But if you notice how much thicker the sole is,
yeah.
majority of them are a rubber sole
Mhm.
because they're wearing that boot
Yeah, I mean,
every
it's
day.
got like the gripper kind of rubber
Yes.
sole.
But we have them steel toe or plain
Non-
toe.
Depending on your
right.
needs.
Most of them in my work boots are a little shorter top, 12-inch tops. Now, they do make taller tops, and I brought one of each. There's the pull, dog
Right,
ears, we
right,
call that.
uh-huh.
And then here's
And
the
there's
pull holes,
the
yes.
holes there.
But a lot of our guys in Stevens County and all, the guys, you don't have to work in the oil field, but guys consider these more of a work boot versus our cowboy boots we have. We call them work boots. Guys walk in, I need a steel toe work boot, or I need when we say plain toe, that means no steel
Right,
in the toe.
Right. So do you ever get any guys that work on a farm?
Yes,
Or
yes.
who will wear this
He will
one?
wear this boot. He
Uh-huh.
don't need the steel
Yeah,
toe.
yeah.
Usually the steel toe guy is their companies require them to have a steel toe.
Mhm.
But yeah, a guy that's just on the farm, he could wear that boot right there without, because like I said, when you put that little piece of steel, you're carrying a
It's-
little more weight.
Yeah,
But
yeah. But if you've ever worked someplace I worked at a refinery one summer when I was in college, and man, I was glad I had
had
those steel
something to
toes.
drop something on your toe.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
One other, I did not bring kids' boots, but we can fit anybody in boots, from the little infants,
Mm-hmm.
kids,
All the way.
grown-ups, men and ladies.
And you said, like, you even can special order.
Special order. We have a company will let us kind of design a boot. I'm working with a customer right now, and they will let us put different color tops on. We use different kinds of leathers. He's working on an elephant boot right now,
Mhm.
but he wants to change color top. My company will let us do that. So we say we can special order whatever whatever customer's
Mhm.
looking for.
And if you need a different width.
Different
'cause
widths.
I'm, from, I guess, multiple A's.
From A, it starts from we can go as narrow as a 3A, which is
Okay,
really
very
narrow.
narrow.
And then A's, B's, C's, D's, double E's, triple E's. So
Triple E.
triple E would be a wide
yeah,
foot.
That's a Fred Flintstone right there.
There you go.
Yeah, so because that's important too.
It is.
And especially if someone has a foot size that it's hard to find shoes, or they just don't always feel good. If you can get a pair of boots
That fits
that
right.
fit, that's a probably like a highlight, a way to have a nice piece of footwear that feels good.
Well,
on your
especially a
foot.
guy wearing boots every day.
Oh, my
I always
goodness.
said, if your feet hurt, you're gonna hurt all over.
Yes.
So you gotta have a right size boot, and, because if your feet hurt, you're gonna hurt all over,
Mhm.
especially wearing them all day long.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Mark, this has just been fantastic. Don't you guys think this has been very interesting? I love all this. Now, he did say that he has a little bit of knowledge about how a boot is actually constructed. So Mark's going to come back on another episode of Trail Talk and kind of give us the lowdown on some of that.
How they are
they're
made,
I think that would be
what
very
the
interesting.
insides and stuff, how they're
Uh-huh.
made from,
Uh-huh.
and the steps they go
They
through.
go, that'll be a good one. Be watching for that one in the future. Before we finish up though, Mark, I want to talk about this particular boot. Now, he sells pairs of boots. He just brings one because that's all you really need to see. But we have this boot because today, I'm sorry, I'm leaning over while I'm trying to talk. Today kicks off our Texoma Gives
Right.
campaign. It's our biggest fundraiser of the year. And if you have, if you've seen on TV, there are commercials, Texoma Gives. The actual day is September 9th, Thursday, September 9th. You'll be seeing and hearing more from us about that. But this is going to help us raise some money for Texoma Gives.
Right. I believe you're giving this boot away, right?
We're going to give this boot away on September 9th. And you can come by and get your chances here at the Heritage Center, starting today. One ticket is $1, 6 tickets for $5, or you can get 12 tickets for $10. The more you buy, the better your chances are. But tell us a little bit about these boots.
Okay, this is the company is R. Watson. He's
Okay.
a gentleman that's been around different boot companies. And he started this boot out and this new company probably about 2 years ago. And we notified and asked if they would be willing to donate a boot for y'all could give away.
Mhm.
Now, we are giving a pair,
Yeah, it's
not just this one. It will be a pair of boots from this company. It's a new company for me. Great boot, all leather, double stitch. We're back to our square toe.
right.
Um,
Toe bug.
and a toe bug, and
I
we
got
got
it that time.
a 14-inch toe.
Oh, okay.
Now,
Okay.
what we're doing on this, if you win the boot or the drawing,
Uh-huh.
we will let you pick a smooth leather boot from this company. If you say, oh, I don't like this boot, you don't have to take this particular, which is a sharp looking boot. to
Yes,
start
it
with.
is. I really like it.
And so, and then we'll get your size.
Mhm.
They'll come, probably the best thing, if they don't know the size, come to the store. We'll have them try on boot. But we are happy that this company, R.
Yes,
Watson,
R. Watson
out of
boots,
Texas.
right here.
Yeah.
Okay,
R.
right
Watson.
there. Yeah.
Randy Watson is the name of the gentleman that owns the company.
Okay.
And their
Oh, he's got a great looking little kind of brand
tag right there.
thing right
Yeah.
there, the R with the spur
Yeah.
there. That looks real
But
good.
yes, but we are giving a full pair,
A full
not just,
pair
not just
Of
one.
smooth leather boots in your
Right,
size.
Right.
Yeah, from,
So everybody needs to come get
yeah,
a chance to win a
get
boot.
you a chance. And like I said, that Saturday, day after tomorrow is a Western
Western
Spirit
Spirits.
celebration here. And this will be at the front desk. So come into the museum and get yourself a chance and come enjoy some cook-off and cobblers and I mean,
Right, without, they're gonna be chuck wagons
yes,
outside,
yeah.
which will be doing the chuck wagon cooking.
Uh-huh.
I believe we're gonna have some longhorn cattle here. There's a lot of activity going on
There-
Saturday.
Yes, we have a Buffalo Soldier
Okay,
is going to be here. Katie Jo Gordon
yes.
is going
yeah,
to be here
back here
with her
again.
horse,
Right.
yeah. We've got some Native American dancers who
Okay.
are going to be here. Some music. I mean, we have a
Full day
a
of
full day
activity.
of a lot of fun. It's going to kick off at noon, 12 noon. But, you don't have to wait till then to get a chance on winning yourself some of these boots. So we appreciate this opportunity that
Good,
you're
good.
helping us out with, Mark. This
That's
is
good.
great. Very nice. Well, I am so glad that you came on
Well,
today.
thank you for having
My
me.
goodness,
Thank you.
what a fun episode
Thank
this
you.
was. And hopefully we'll see you guys Saturday for the Western Spirit celebration. And you ready to say happy trails to 'em?
Happy
Okay, let's do it. Happy trails.
trails.